We need to sort out what is, what isn't, because we want to make sure, certainly as an administrative staff, and certainly from the executive branch, we want to make sure that we are doing correctly what you as a legislative branch are looking to have us do and to write into here. I think I'm hearing enough questions back and forth that I'm not sure that you want to rush this one.
I think that it would be worth getting on the books and getting done, and then if there needs to be revision, then we can always go back and do that. But, you know, if we've got an RTC board coming up, who's going to go?
Well, absence any change, the existing members would continue until the RTC board and or C-Tran board in those cases, or the chamber board or anybody else were to get appropriate letters from the jurisdictions that let them know who the new representatives are.
I think you have a misapprehension about the Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber of Commerce bylaws state specifically that the Board of Directors non-voting member of the mayor or the mayor's designee. It doesn't say a representative of the city. It says the mayor or the mayor's designee.
I have to see that, Paul. I'm just taking your word at this point.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
That would strongly point towards not putting it in code as far as that committee or that liaison as well. I did want to touch on a comment that was made earlier and agree with Councilwoman Costin regarding the idea of having the majority of the council confirm. That is certainly, I think that is an appropriate aspect that we may want to add into this code. Also, with the paperwork that we have before us that John provided for us, the only portion that he is amending, by the way, are the underlined portions. And I agree with you that the term limits about 12 months. That might be a good idea, might not be, but that's all existing code. The only change is the underlined portion. With regards to the majority having a say on it, I think that can be an appropriate thing because, among other things, we make the rules for our own body, and a vote of the majority would seem to be appropriate. It's delegated by the appointment committee to do the work to figure out, you know, who's doing which and whatnot. I think that's mainly as a time saver for us. But I think the idea behind that is simply that the will of the majority will prevail during that.
Dave.
Thank you. I yielded the floor here for a clarification. I never got it back.
My apologies.
So I'll, at this point, agree with Councilman Delavar and Councilwoman Costin. I think they should be approved by the City Council. I think the staff work, the nitty-gritty, the pick and shovel work should be done by the committee. It should be brought back to the council for approval. And I base that not so much on good procedure or anything as on what I see as a violation of the separation of powers to have the mayor making council assignments. And so when the time comes and it's appropriate, I would propose to amend paragraph 1 there so that instead of saying the mayor and 2 individual council members, it says the mayor pro tem and 2 other council members. And I'll submit that at whatever time it's appropriate.
Other council comments? Rod?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to at least one more time bring it up with Councilman Delavar about the aspect of not being quite so
Daunting.
well, a little more flexible, I guess, in the decision or the determination how this is written out.
Good point. Mr. Mayor, I move to strike the amendment on the floor and insert the amendment that I'll give to you here so it can be read appropriately, which would be to change paragraph 1 to read, the city establishes the procedure for the appointment of the council members to serve on the committees where no other appointment process is already established. As a minimum, these committees will include public safety, finance and personnel, public works, and community development, and the rest remains the same.
Okay, second, but Councilman Delavar, then I must be missing something, because I want to know what we do then. I guess I would fall back to the idea that shall consist of the mayor pro tem and 2 individual council members, but if we don't have another process in place, do we fall back then to those 3 individuals to make these assignments, and then we vote on them as a whole?
My understanding is my amendment would do that, so far, what we have on the table that we'd be voting on right now would be to have the appointment committee appoint all the council members that would, as long as there isn't another process established, like Councilmember Greenlee mentioned about the Chamber of Commerce having the mayor as designee, that would be a process that's already established. And also with the Tax and Lodging Board, that's already another established process. So for any other process where it's not established already, this amendment would make the appointment committee have the final say on who is appointed to it. And if we need to amend it further to include consent of the entire council, that would be a separate amendment.
Right.
Okay, so I've got a motion to, I'm not even sure, I'm not sure that we've got an appropriate one, because we have a motion on the floor prior to your motion to amend. And your motion to amend was to amend the amendment, correct?
Mm-hmm. Substitute.
Does yours trump the first one?
Yeah, it would. It's a
Yeah, it does.
substitution, basically.
Okay, so I've got a motion to amend the amendment to add in the wording that Councilman Delavar has in his amendment.
Right, to substitute my amendment for his.
Okay?
Point of clarification, please.
Yes.
Does your amendment continue with the second sentence, this committee shall be known as and shall consist of, et cetera? Or does it?
The known as is struck through, so that the beginning of that sentence is, as a minimum, these committees will include public safety, finance and personnel, public works, and community development.
Okay, and does it end there? It doesn't address the membership of the committee?
No, the rest of the paragraph remains as it's printed in the handout that you have.
Okay. Thank you.
Could I have a clarification also? I didn't quite hear what you said. A procedure for the appointment of council members to serve on committees. Did you say council committees or committees?
Committees. Let me go through this one. What the current motion and second is for an amendment to the Appointments Committee 2.04.050. The city establishes a procedure for the appointment of the council members to serve on committees where no other appointment process is already established. As a minimum, these committees will include public safety, finance and personnel, public works, and community development. This committee shall be known as the Appointment Committee and shall consist of the then elected mayor and 2 individual council members selected by the council at a regular meeting in December of each year. Term of each council member appointed to this appointment committee shall be for a period of 12 months unless reappointed by the city council. The appointment committee shall decide